Y'all, check this out. This is a song called Headbutt. Has something ever hit you immediately and viscerally? I'm talking like the first time I heard Blackwater Park or And Justice for All. That's what happened the first time I heard this song. I knew right away, this is me. I'm about to obsess over this band. So I looked them up and I dug into the band Igorrr and their new album Amen, coming out this September the 19th. And I was blown away by what I found. This band is so unique and special. I cannot wait to share it with you all. I've got a whole lot of praise and one criticism on episode 235 of Heavy Metal Philosophy. Welcome, metalheads. I'm the host of Heavy Metal Philosophy and writer for Metal Digest, Jon Barbas. Make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for this week's Riff of the Week. Now, first things first, I gotta thank Tommy over at the Wolff and the Melody. I saw his reel reacting to Headbutt over on Instagram, and my first thought was, God damn! And my next thought was, I gotta know who this is, so I owe my latest obsession to Tommy. Please go show him your support by subscribing to the Wolff and the Melody. All right, on to the music. The first thing that hit me was I thought this has got to be the most metal piano I have ever heard. I've never described a piano as brutal before, but here we are.
I've always loved the piano as an instrument, so I wanted more than just to include it like that on a metal track. I wanted to push it further, push it to play loud, to see if it could stand its ground alongside the other metal instruments. At the end, it became more of a rhythmic instrument than a melodic one.
So yeah, it's brutal, but there's also something clever and thoughtful going on here. And y'all know me, cunning music is going to get my heavy metal nerd boner a little aroused. Then after I researched Igorrr well, I only got more erect from there. This is the project of mastermind and composer Gautier Serre, who is passionate about Baroque music, but also loves death metal like Cannibal Corpse, electronic and breakcore music like Aphex Twin, gent like Meshuggah, and avant-garde and big band acts like Mr. Bungle and Portishead. Learning this only affirmed in my mind, yeah, this band is pretty much me personified. Only the guys and gals in this band have vision, insight, and an adventurous and patient passion for experimentation. There's over a dozen world instruments on record here, including things like Tibetan horns, there's all manner of percussion instruments like Spanish castanets,
I also used a variety of different percussions. They were really fun to record and really cool to have them now on the records. They are taikos, big Asian drums that sounds really cinematic.
But there's also novel experiments, like using an anvil as a snare. How about a giant old saw blade as a gong? And of course, the excavator smashing a piano. here's another thing that really touched me. Longtime subscribers know that I've worked in manufacturing for my day job for my whole career, and seeing footage of him designing and then fabricating the fixture for the saw blade gong, I'm telling you, this speaks to me on a deep and personal level. But it's not all weird instruments. Even tried and true atmospheric production techniques like recording a choir was infused with experimentation.
I've recorded the choir in an old monastery in Nice, where every note could really explode and bloom with this amazing natural reverb. And this reverb was so intense that the building became kind of like an instrument by itself. And because I like to experiment, we've also tried a few things, like a choir that pitches down on one side while pitching up on the other to give that wobbly feel. We've also tried a choir that melts down from one note to another. The guys were amazing.
But the thing I like most is none of the experimentation is done for experimentation's sake. There are lots of experimental bands, but most of them sound chaotic and disjointed. Igorrr still sounds musical and compelling. You don't have to be a nerd to enjoy this music. It certainly helps, but listen to these chugs. That's just straight up metal. And yeah, as much as they have fun and play with novelty, everything is grounded in brutality. But that brings me to another point about this band that really speaks to me as a metalhead. As brilliant as they are as artists, Igorrr isn't too cool for school when it comes to fun and humor, over there in the corner with their arms folded looking all dour and sourpuss. That example of chugging I presented earlier, that is a song called Blast Beat Falafel. Hilarious. Now, I've only just begun to dig into Igorr's back catalog, but it looks to me like every album has at least one fun song like this on it. So yeah, as much as I love the ferocious evil on a song like Infestus, I also appreciate other colors in life besides black. When we think about metal, of course, the first color we think about is black, but humor has always been a giant part of heavy metal. Every metalhead thinks that one of the subgenres is cheesy while completely ignoring the campiness in their favored subgenre. An example is myself. I'm a death metal guy, and I find power metal to be real cheesy. But my favorite subgenre is about serial killers and zombies. It's just a macabre celebration of B horror movies. And are you gonna tell me that as much as the true cult lifestyle of black metal is serious business, that subgenre isn't full of cheesiness and absurdity? Tell the truth. Fenris would tell the truth.
Legacy Magazine, Diana.
Hey, it's Fenris.
Hi.
Hi. What's up? Are you having a great Friday?
And that leads me to the song ADHD off of Igorr's upcoming record Amen on September the 19th. This is one of the fun songs and I very much enjoyed listening to it. It's great. But that does bring up the one complaint that I had that I alluded to in the intro. The music video is AI. Now I promise I'm not going to go on another tirade. Longtime subscribers already know my position on generative AI, and I'm not against all AI. I love the idea of AI solving some of humanity's biggest problems. I just don't think that art is one of those problems, and I want art to be reserved for humans. The robots should do the chores and the humans should do the art. Now, for those of you that saw my episode on Nothing More and them using AI for their music videos, you will have already seen all the points that I have on that. But basically, even without my bias towards generative AI, I just don't need surreal images for the music video. I find studio and concert footage much more compelling to watch. I'll never watch that Nothing More video again. Not because I hate AI, but because I've seen it and now the novelty has worn off. I can sit and watch old concert footage over and over and over again, but I will never come home from work and go, you know what I want to watch? I want to watch that Nothing More AI music video instead of all the other things that I have to choose from. Now, let's be fair. This ADHD music video from Igorrr is way more compelling than that video from Nothing More. On this video, the images don't seem random. They seem to actually go with the message of the song, and the movements seem to be synced up with the music, and it seems to have more of a story and a direction. It is much higher quality. It's not just surreal images for surreal images' sake, but the fact that it's higher quality, to me, reinforces my point. Because even though the AI footage is much better, it's still not as compelling as seeing the artists and performers in the studio doing their work, making it all happen. Now, y'all tell me, maybe I'm just a music nerd, but you're watching this. If you're on YouTube or Spotify, you can see the visuals on screen. Which one was more compelling? The weird AI images or watching the artists in the studio doing the work? I know which one I would choose to watch again in the future. I love the artists. This is my new obsession. I can't tell you how excited I am. So even with that one complaint about the music video, I am freaking out and I cannot wait for this record from Igorrr to drop. Amen, September the 19th. Make sure you get it. But most importantly, read philosophy, listen to metal. I love you.